Francois, you have a great passion to show the world that the Bible is authentic. Isn't that what you do?
Yes.
And what happens to your soul when you find something in the archaeology that confirms the scriptures?
Recently I phoned you and I told you about the latest discovery, Walter. I was so excited. It comes from the book of Daniel. Now, Daniel is a book that's not popular with everybody. But let's go to...
For very particular reasons.
Yes, yes. And you cannot appreciate Revelation without understanding Daniel.
And it's interesting that Martin Luther said that we should study the book of Daniel.
By the way, it's the first book he published.
The very first one.
Yes.
Of the Old Testament.
Yeah. If you could turn to Daniel chapter 5 verse 31 and chapter 6 verse 1. Let's see what it says.
Well, Daniel chapter 5 verse 31 says, "And Darius the Mede received the kingdom, being about 62 years old." Chapter 6 verse 1 says, "It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be over the whole kingdom." So what is your point here, Francois?
The Bible says he received the kingdom. In other words, he received the Babylonian kingdom. There was a merge between him and Cyrus, the Medes and the Persians. Now this is what the Bible says, and because they couldn't trace the name Darius the Mede in ancient literature, because they were heavy on Herodotus, they rejected this.
Now who was Herodotus?
Herodotus was a historian, and he distorted the image of Cyrus. I went through his works. He is he pinches.
Is he negative towards Cyrus?
Negative. Yes. The other source, by Xenophon, gives us a profile of a type of Christ. So who do you think I rely on? And by the way, Herodotus stops with the royalty at a certain point, whereas Xenophon carries on right to the time of Darius the Mede. But listen what the Lesser Light says about this situation.
We read in the book Prophets and Kings, page 523, "Babylon was besieged by Cyrus, nephew of Darius the Mede, and commanding general of the combined armies of the Medes and Persians." Now,
this one word, nephew, Walter, when I saw it, the entire picture just fell together.
why? What is the issue? What did Herodotus have to say about Cyrus, for example?
No, he was negative. He was negative. He also said that Cyrus conquered the Median Empire.
But the Bible says nothing about that.
No, no.
And here she says that Cyrus was actually related to Darius.
Yes.
Well, that changes the picture entirely.
Darius the Mede was his uncle.
And it also says that he was the general of the combined armies.
And this is what the Xenophon says.
So Xenophon supports this.
Yes. Walter, for about 4 weeks now, I've been studying the reliability of the Bible concerning Darius the Mede. In conjunction with what Ellen White says about this man, and what the Bible says about Cyrus the Great, as well as Darius the Mede. Now, when they disprove Daniel, this entire chapter with its message falls apart. This is eschatology. This is Daniel coming from the lion's den.
So, Francois, we need that lecture.
It's coming. Walter, I'm so excited.
So, in other words, what you are saying, the world criticizes the book of Daniel based on the mentioning of Darius the Mede, if you want to use the American pronunciation of his name, then it also brings into play the relationship between Darius and Cyrus, and that they were actually related.
And the Bible speaks about the Medo-Persian Empire. Cyrus did not destroy the Medes. It was his family.
It was his family, so he actually, in him they were united, the Medes and the Persians.
Yes, you know, he actually gave Darius, his uncle, Darius the Mede, the palace in Babylon, and Darius the Mede gave Cyrus his daughter.
So you are telling me, Francois, that the lesser light is shining on the greater light, the Bible, and showing us that the Bible is not only true but relevant for our time. Is that what you're saying? Now,
yes.
You know, Francois, your research was in the field of archaeology.